The Midnight Hour belongs to this man on Comedy Central. I've been a big fan of yours, sir, with Talking Dead, Talking Bad, the Nerdist podcast, one of the most downloaded podcasts in all the land, all the planet. The host of Midnight with Chris Hardwick on Comedy Central. Chris Hardwick.
Thank you. Good to see you, Rich. Thank you.
Good to see you.
You know, before your producer last time said, this is a short segment, so don't talk long.
Yes.
And I'm like, no problem. Anyway, here's a long, rambling story. So I apologize. But I just wanted to say,
Yes.
you know, I don't want to lie to your audience. Okay. I don't know that much about sports.
That's
I grew
fine,
up,
though.
you know, in chess club and, you know, computer programming and Dungeons and Dragons and all that sort of stuff. And why are you judging me with your laugh?
No, okay. Hey, I rolled a 22-sided die in my lifetime, sir.
There's no 22-sided die, Rich. It's a 20-sided die. And that's what you roll for your saving throw, all right? Don't worry.
Okay.
So my mom and my dad, my mom is such a huge fan of yours. My mother is this amazing little Italian lady. She's at Nerdist Mom on Twitter.
Yes.
I would bring her on at midnight occasionally to talk about sports because she knows everything about everything. And she swears a lot, so people love that. So I am here for my mom. She was supposed to be here.
Yes.
But she is a real estate agent, and she's got
a gig. She's got a job.
Yes, her clients come first, so she had an inspection today, so she was not able to be here today.
Now, but Nerdist's dad is one of the greatest bowlers in the history of bowling, correct?
Yes, my dad, Billy Hardwick, was one of the... I grew up on the Pro Bowlers Tour. I was named after Chris Schenkel, the famous...
Is that right?
Yeah, because my mom thought I was going to be a girl, and so Chris Schenkel, before like the last time my mom was out in public, she saw Chris Schenkel, and he said, if it's a boy, name him Christopher, and she was like, no problem, thinking, I'm never going to have to do that. And then I came out with an Audi, I guess you would say.
One says, yes.
Yeah, and...
just like Chris Schenkel used to have.
Audi.
Yeah.
And
you had a Schenkel.
I had
Chris
a Schenkel,
had a Schenkel,
yeah.
if
And
you
then
will.
so I was a Christopher.
I mean, Schenkel is one of the greatest sports broadcasters, period, not
He was
just
such a
bowling.
wonderful man, too. He really was.
What's it like growing up on the Pro Bowlers Tour? What was that about?
I mean, at the time, I didn't know any different. I mean, it was just my life. I grew up around, you know, I mean, we were on the road a lot, you know. My dad hated to fly, so we drove everywhere, ate at a lot of Cracker Barrels, and and still do. Yeah. And so growing up, you know, Dick Weber and Earl Anthony and Mark Roth and Marshall Holman and all these guys, they populated my childhood. But
PDW?
And the what?
PDW.
Yeah, exactly.
Parker Bone the Third. I'm gonna
Yeah, all these guys, and so I grew up. My parents met because my mother's father was a bowling proprietor in Florida, and so
what's a bowling proprietor?
He owned a couple. He ran a couple bowling centers, and you say bowling center is the nice term. That's the
alley. Alley is a
divey place.
Term,
yeah, that is a pejorative term.
Okay.
You say alley, and it's like, oh, you don't want to go there. So bowling center was always drilled into my head. But you know, I was bowling from I don't know if you have a picture, but from the time I could walk, I was bowling.
Yeah, we're looking at it right now.
I was 3 years old, and
that form.
Yeah, it was not bad.
You finished high. You finished. The hand was high.
Yeah, and there we are on the cover of Bowler's Journal. There's my mom and my dad.
Bowler's Journal.
But when I was a kid, you know, I was averaging like 200 when I was a kid. So my parents, I would do these talk shows. You know, I would do like the Mike Douglas show and all these shows, bowling. I mean, I guess I was...
So like Tiger Woods was on golfing.
Yes.
With Bob Hope on the Mike Douglas show.
But at a certain point, someone said to Tiger Woods, you can make millions of dollars doing this. And my dad said to me, you could make thousands of dollars in bowling. And
so you chose a life in comedy, essentially.
I chose a life in comedy, it was strangely parallel to my dad. I chose a career that was strangely parallel to my dad.
How so?
Well, it's very... it was very nomadic. I mean, you know, all the cities that I traveled to do comedy, I would call my dad when he was still alive, and I'd go, hey, I'm in Tucson. And he'd go, in 67, I bowled at this. And I'd go, and occasionally the bowling center would still be there.
Was there like an autographed picture of your dad on the wall?
Yeah, sometimes there would be, like in the pro shop, there'd be an old autographed picture of my dad. I mean, he was one of the best in the history of the sport.
Chris Hardwick here on the Rich Eisen Show. What'd you think of Kingpin then? What'd you think of
I loved Kingpin. Obviously, I love the Farrelly Brothers. I loved Kingpin. Bill Murray is my favorite. My dad was so funny. He liked Kingpin, but he goes, it was a cute movie, but I mean, I was a hustler back in the day. That's not how it went. I go, yeah, the Amish aren't bowling either. Can we just suspend our disbelief for a half a second?
But did Big Ern McCracken hit too close to home?
It was maybe it was just a little too close of a burn to my dad. But
the comb over just flying over the Big Ern's comb over.
You know what's really amazing is that in the 60s, bowling was really a premier sport in this country. And so it was a really... like my dad had the most amazing. I did a podcast with him, and it was one of the best things I ever did because, you know, about a year and a half later, he passed away, and I have this amazing moment with him where we bonded as a father and, like, you know, podcasting and
incredible.
And it turned out to be such an amazing experience. But he had such great stories because bowlers were treated like. You know, he would say, like, oh, the last time I was in L.A. was in the 60s, and the Jaguar dealership gave us a couple of Jaguars, and we got drunk and drove. You shouldn't do this.
Yes.
We had a couple of coffees and drove down the 405 in the middle of the night at like 100 miles an hour in these borrowed Jaguars. I mean, like, he really lived a great life as a bowler in the 60s.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, that was on the Wide World of Sports on ABC.
Yeah.
I mean, people were sitting down to tune in, and they were stars.
He
Bowlers were
did
stars,
the first
you're right.
beer commercial for an athlete in 1969. He did a Miller High Life commercial.
He did a Miller commercial, huh?
And then after his commercial, by the way, commercials back then were like 3 minutes long. Like, it was the look. People had a great attention span.
Many documentaries.
And after that, they wouldn't let active athletes do beer commercials anymore because they felt it sent a bad message to kids. Beer makes you strong, or whatever.
These are the people who said wanted bowling center. You know, when I grew up on Staten Island, there were bowling centers.
Yeah.
The place I went was called Bowling on the Green.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of Bowling on the Green, yeah.
Bowling on the Green, sort of like it's there in Central Park. Instead, it was off of Highland Boulevard.
Oh,
in
that's
Staten
great.
Island, you know, so
everyone's got a bowling. So I did a celebrity bowling show on YouTube where I'd bowl against like we bowled against the Breaking Bad cast and the Walking Dead cast.
So who was the best? Who was the best bowler from Breaking Bad?
Aaron Paul was. I think it was Aaron Paul.
That makes sense.
Aaron Paul, but Cranston. I think they ended up winning that one. Cranston won.
He's just great at everything.
He's great at everything.
In other words, the guy's
really
great at everything.
Yeah.
I've got Chris Hardwick here on the Rich Eisen Show. We've been having fun with a hashtag of make a sports movie worse based on something that you do on At Midnight. And Chris Law, you say it is on Twitter right now. It is trending.
Yeah, it's the number. It's moved its way up to the number 4 trend.
Do you have any, Chris? Do you have any?
We have a ton of them from listeners. You want to?
Well, let's take a break. We'll take a 1-minute break. When we come back, we'll do that. And then our fan of the week in our weekly Friends of Rich Celebrity League, brought to you by DraftOps.com. I believe there's somebody named Sharon who is on the phone to give a pick 3.
My mom has stepped outside to give you your fan picks.
At Nerdist Mom will be here to give the fan of the week picks. I've got at Midnight's Chris Hardwick right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Back in a minute. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show, the host of the Nerdist podcast with recent guests Michael Shannon, who was here on the show a month ago, Daniel Radcliffe, Daniel Craig. Chris Hardwick here on the Rich Eisen Show. Daniel, you had Bond, huh?
I had Bond on. He was rad. He was super cool. Good guy.
That's the.
We have Quentin Tarantino today. Like it's a good. We had a good run.
You're having a great run, man. And At Midnight is a great, fun show every weeknight on Comedy Central, right at midnight. And you just have. It just looks like you're just having a blast.
Everything I do, I'm at this really fortunate place in my career where I just only get to work on things that I really enjoy. And I understand that it's a moment in time.
Sure.
And I'm very appreciative, but I work, most days of the week. And I just did a show for NBC that LeBron James produced called The Wall, which is like a big event game show thing. So it's, I'm
So you got to meet LeBron? You got to chat with him?
No, he's out playing basketball.
Okay.
So he didn't
His
have
people
time
are producing with you.
He is.
Okay.
But it's just that once basketball season is in, like, that's his focus. So the show was in pre-production when he wasn't doing that, and so, but he has an amazing team, and it's I've been working long enough in this business to have not worked for periods. And so I know that right now it's
That's so great, man. Congratulations on all of that.
I appreciate it. And my mom is, but everything I've done.
Yes.
I think the one thing that flipped my mom out the most.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, I called her up and I go, hey, I got asked to do something, and I think this is going to be something that you're really going to appreciate. I barely get that out of my mouth, and she goes, are you going to throw out the first pitch of the Dodgers game? And I go, yes. She started screaming.
Yeah.
And
how'd that go for you?
It went well. And it's because I took her advice. She said, all right, you're not going to miff this, okay? I'm not going to have you out there throwing it into the dirt.
Talk about viral.
So my mom totally sports mommed me, and she made me hook up with the UCLA pitching coach the week before I went out to Dodger Stadium, showed me the thing.
You were at Jackie Robinson Stadium?
Yes.
And what I did
No, out to Dodger Stadium.
Oh, you went to Dodger Stadium?
We went to Dodger Stadium.
Because I went to Jackie Robinson Stadium to practice with UCLA coaches as well. When
Did
I
it
did
help
it
you?
also. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you think you need to throw the ball down because you're on top of the pitcher's mound, and that's how you dirt it.
Yeah, no.
You got to practice.
I'm not saying I ripped it over home plate, but it was not bad to the extent that it was Star Wars night, which is why they had me do it. And they're like, who can do it? And so
Right.
I got so excited that without thinking, I just full bore ran at the catcher and jumped up and wrapped my limbs around him.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look at the
I was so relieved that I didn't
That's like
embarrass
Officer
myself.
and a Gentleman, like right
Like
there.
Don Larson and Yogi
Never
Berra.
occurred to me that I
That's
could injure this man, but I was just excited that I didn't embarrass myself.
What does it mean that you go Don Larson and Yogi Berra and I said Officer and a Gentleman?
I'm not sure.
I don't know what that means. It's a window into something that I'm not proud of. I'll be very honest. So we did the hashtag of make a sports movie worse.
Yes, sir.
And do you have any suggestions?
I mean, I have a couple. I guess The Longest Yarn or
That's a
North
good one.
Waco 40. I thought was pretty good. Or just Caddyshack 2. Why did they do that to Caddyshack? Why did they do that to Caddyshack?
See, now, I love that sometimes you can come up with your own where you remove a word and put another word in, or you just use an
Or you
actual
just
name
use
of a
Caddyshack.
movie.
Caddyshack, one of the best movies of all time. Caddyshack 2, come on.
What happened, right?
Well, what happened is that Caddyshack was sort of like a sleeper hit, and so they were like, well, let's make another one, and it just didn't really have the same.
I've got a couple of them right here.
Yeah.
I've got A Plague of Their Own.
Good.
I like that one. That was from @Paper Monkeys with an NZ at the end there.
Oh, I have a guy here @Prizzle416. 2 girls, 1 tin cup.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
I saw that one. That was
That's a
great.
good one.
One of my favorites is a Bad Nude Bears.
Oh, that's bad.
By the way, they included a picture, which is.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
That's not of the William the Refrigerator Perry with shirtless.
No,
Okay,
never
that's
did.
good. Hoosiers Daddy.
Good.
That's
I
a
like
good
it.
one
I
from
give that
Darth
points. I give
Intern.
that points.
Here's a couple good ones. Friday Night Tights.
Yep.
The Mighty Turduckins. Any Given Sunday Funday starring Johnny Manziel.
Fantastic.
Rudy Tang. And Caddy Shank.
Rudy Tang.
Rudy Tang.
That's a good one. That's a
How
reference
about-
to the Louis C.K. movie.
Of
Pootie Tang,
course, yeah.
Rudy Tang and Rudy mashed
Yeah,
up.
at which we had JB Smoove on once, and Bob Costas comes running out of the green room. This was at the Super Bowl doing Pootie Tang lines to him. It was one of the greatest moments. I almost retired on the spot.
What a
Just
day, what a day.
having Bob Costas.
That's crazy. I think you must have been
Do
like,
that.
did I die on the way to the stadium? This isn't real.
This is the sort of thing that you pray for every single day. Friday was Ben and Jerry Maguire.
Fantastic.
I like that one.
Points.
Here's a good one from Aaron Weinbaum. All the Right Moves
Good.
with a B. That's not a good. That does make. I mean, this is fun.
It's fun. It's fun. It's just silly distraction and
things that go viral.
silly comedy.
All right, is Sharon in Los Angeles on the show?
Sharon's on.
Okay. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, honey. Hi, Rich.
How you doing?
Oh, great. This is so exciting, but I'm a little nervous
Why?
getting to talk to Rich, my idol.
I'm not kidding, Rich. Like, for months, she would go, well, Joel McHale was just on. Nick Thune was just, John Hamm has been on. I mean, all your friends are on the Rich Eisen show. Why, can you get on? Mm-hmm. So here
And
I
now
am.
look, now look.
I'm
Very
making you proud,
exciting.
Mom.
I know. I'm so proud right now.
Sharon, thanks for watching as much as you do. We get your tweets all the time.
Oh, I'm so glad. I love it, Rich. I start my day off at 6 a.m. here in L.A. with Dan Patrick.
Okay, great.
And followed by the Rich Eisen show. And I just love it. And if I'm not here, I record it and I watch it every day. And I really love your show. And I love your wife when she sits in. I love the Susie.
Thank you, Sharon. I will let her know that. She's coming back because I need a break.
I know. She's,
I've been working
she's
to you.
great. She's my favorite Rich fill-in.
Thank you,
and I
Sharon.
like to see her more.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Now, you are our fan of the week this week, Sharon, in our
I
draft.
can't believe it.
Yes.
So exciting.
So you get a chance to try and beat all of us in fantasy football this week, okay?
Okay, I'm going to try.
You ready for that? Who's your favorite team, Sharon?
Well, I have so many favorites, Rich. I love the game so much that it's hard for me to pick one team. But I do have a friend playing for the Giants, and I do love the Giants, and that's Orleans Darkwa.
Okay.
Who really is an up-and-coming great running back.
That's right.
I mean, if they would give him more time,
He's not kidding.
he's really going to break out. So I'm hoping that they'll quit using 4 backs and pick 2, and he's one of them.
This is I did not think, Chris Hardwick, I would have you on the show and then have your mom come on and complain about the Giants running back rotation.
Dude, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You have no idea how deep the rabbit hole goes. I can't even, I'm so excited.
Is there anything else you want to get off your chest about the world of sports, Sharon, before we get your picks?
There is not enough time, but someday, we should do that.
Yes,
we
come
should
in.
definitely do that.
Come
we
in.
should do that.
For sure.
I would love to. So, my pick.
Okay, wait, we have to give you the NFL Films music and everything.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then the proper
great.
introduction. All right,
that's
with Chris
exciting.
Hardwick of At Midnight on Comedy Central every night at midnight, sitting right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Sharon Hills, at Nerdist Mom on Twitter, is the Rich Eisen Show, DraftOps.com, Friends of Rich Celebrity League, Fan of the Week. Your quarterback in the Pick 3 competition is who, Sharon?
Cam Newton, of course.
Cam Newton, of course. Okay.
Or Jerry Cantrell.
Okay. All right.
Gotta go. Yeah. And are you ready for my next one?
I am.
My running back?
Yes. Who's your running back, Sharon? Go for it.
Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson. Okay. That's, by the way,
Gotta go for him.
just so you know, before you came on, Chris, Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains, which is here right here, he picked Cam Newton and Adrian Peterson as well.
Oh my God, Mom, do you want to date Jerry Cantrell? I wouldn't mind having a stepdad who was in Alice in Chains. That'd be pretty rad. My stepdad plays guitar. What's your stepdad do?
He is cute. He is cute, really. He's cute.
Oh, Cantrell, come back to the studio already, man. I'm in reverse. Mom just gave me the green light. I'm cool with it.
All right, so who's your last pick? Who's your last pick?
Okay, this might come as a surprise, but I don't think it should.
Okay.
But I picked Julius Thomas.
The tight end of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes, because, he has been trying to make his comeback. I think he's really doing it. He had 9 receptions last week. I think he's on a real high. I think he and Blake Bortles have really connected. I think they've really bonded. And I think, obviously, the next week, I think they're playing in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So I think that he's going to be the guy to watch this
Okay.
week.
By the way, Chris, to call this a pick off the radar is doing a disservice to the word radar. So if this hits, Sharon, my gosh, you would deserve the 1,000 for your charity. Do you have a charity that you're playing for this week, Sharon?
Yes, I am playing for Toys for Tots. Because I think all children should have toys for Christmas.
Fantastic.
And, I just realized, I think that Jacksonville is not playing New Orleans. I think they're playing the
Tennessee.
Titans.
Yeah, they are.
And I think Cam is going to New Orleans. I had it a little backwards, but
It's all good. Listen, Sharon,
That's
stick with the
it.
pick. Stick with it. Own it. You're good. It's great.
I'm owning it. I'm going with Julius. I can't wait to see what he does, and I think he's really going to make his I think he's really coming back. So
I'm telling you,
keep an eye on him.
anyone who is in for an entertainment treat, follow my mom at Nerdist Mom during any game that she's watching. Or during the draft, which I called Sports Ball Sorting Hat Day. She is a hoot, and she swears a lot, but she is a delightful little Italian lady, and I love her more than anything in the world.
Sharon, thanks for calling in.
Thank you. What a thrill. Thank you. Love you guys.
This is the first of many times, Sharon.
See you, Sharon.
Okay.
You don't need me. You just need her on here.
Dude,
I'm
that
telling
was
you,
a
she'll
blast.
tear it up.
That was a blast. That was an absolute
The
blast.
woman knows her sports.
And just like Sharon, you too can put together your pick 3 lineup. Tonight, for example, play the Rich Eisen Show pick 3 for just Thursday Night Football alone. Packers and Lions. Takes only a few seconds to play for hours of fun. Pick, watch, win. DraftOps.com. That's DraftOps.com. Dude, like I told you, I'm a huge fan of yours. This is awesome that you came on
This
the show
was an
today.
honor. I love seeing people who are passionate about something get together and make a thing for people. And you guys, even though I feel like we speak some of the same language,
We do.
I'm so impressed by your operation.
No, I did. Thank you. And likewise to you. Because to me, my philosophy is a show like this, a sports show, quote unquote, it's part of pop culture, just like everything that you're talking about too.
Yeah.
Just like make a sports movie worse, for instance, right?
Yes, sir.
So for the radio audience, we're saying goodbye to Chris Hardwick, who's going to stick around for the TV show for one more segment. So I'll say goodbye to you for the first of 2 times. Thanks
All
for
right,
coming on
thank
the
you,
show.
Rich Eisen.
You bet.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.